We're here once again. Good evening, listeners. We are here once again with your favorite talk radio show, Men Without Vision. Here with us is one of our motivated speakers, Sister Jeff. Greetings to you, sister.
Greetings to you. God bless.
It's a pleasure to have you here
Yes.
on our show.
Yes. It's a pleasure to have you here also. And invite me to your show, Brother Supreme.
Anytime you're ready, sister.
Yes, today's topic is in these days. It's just so sad. First and foremost, I would like to say, fathers, come home. Mothers, whatever you're doing, pay more attention. We have to get on the ball with our black kids in these communities. It is totally out of control. One thing I have to say is that there's so much changes, and there's no way that these kids can survive or have any future, which they're supposed to be our future. But how could they be our future if they continue to live the lives that they're living? Their days are numbered. Gang violence, drug selling, shooting and killing each other in our communities. It's just so sad. And getting back to the parents, I feel that the new 50s, the 50s are 50s. Don't let them fool you by them saying that the 50s today is like the 30s and the 55s are like 25. No, 55 is 55, 50 is 50. If the parents out here trying to be friends with the children or try to be equal, hang out with them, drink with them, buy drugs from them, there's no hope.
What do you think today, Sister Jeff, about that was a very good point that you just made. What do you think about the older generation, dictating or not dictating to the young? Or what do you think about the older people not showing the guidance to the people? What do you think about that?
Well, I was brought up where charity begins at home. The parents, they laid down the rules and we followed. It wasn't no ends, if or buts. Today's parents, they're trying to be their children's friend.
Kids having kids, basically.
Yeah, and the kids that's having kids,
right?
A lot of them is illiterate, high school drops out, having babies on top of babies.
Our schools are now starting to shut down because there's no kids to attend. What are the kids doing? Where are they at?
They're out there joining up in the gangs and what have you. They're out in the streets and smoking marijuana and drinking, and Lord knows, I don't know how they buy the alcohol and the beer. If they're underage, how are they getting these things? That means adults are stepping in, buying this for the child.
At what point in life do we rectify this?
Right. This is what we have to do. This is what we have to do. We have to have the older generation lead an example to these children. Right. We have to go back to the old school. Exactly. We have to shut down everything. You know, maybe it has a lot to do with today's technology, the computers, the games. You know, I understand time change.
Do you think TV and the sexual preferences of New York City now, being married at the same sex, does that have any impact on our kids today?
Oh, definitely. I mean, to me, since the same-sex bill has been signed, it seems like to me everybody's walking, the young men are walking around with their pants underneath their butts. You know, and the young ladies are also doing the same thing. Then you have, since the same-sex billing has been signed, you have they're walking around, they're kissing in the halls and hugging up on benches. I mean, you know, it is what it is. I really didn't care too much for it, but who am I to you know, call somebody's
But what weight does this put on our future? What weight does this put on?
There's no future.
Do we become, as older people and parents and grandparents, do we become the victim of circumstances?
We're living in Sodom and Gomorrah. It's out of control. I mean, it's totally out of control. The kids that's trying to do things as far as getting their education, they can't even concentrate from watching their backs from the other kids bullying them. The bullying thing is out of control. It's getting to the point where people are committing suicide. We've known that from other different, you know, people who have committed suicide, and it's just out of control. And
In these days,
In
our
these days.
future, in these days, and our future, where do you think is there an ending to the madness?
Well, I know one thing. If we
Or we talk about compromising.
we need the
with young
parents
people.
to step up to the plate.
But kids are having kids.
Well, if the parents is more into the kids' life and making sure and watching what they're doing and cultivating and raising them the proper way and making sure they check their work and check their, where they're being at and who they're hanging out with, and these things are important. You just don't. The kids is out here raising themselves. So in these last days, it's like I just can't understand what it's going to take. It's going to have to hit home. Why does it have to always hit home or come to your door before we get involved? We all have to get involved in our communities and try to save these kids. They're out here cursing. They don't go to school. They're disrespectful to elderly. They don't even help. If you back in our days, if we seen the elder person walking with a bag or something, we went and assist them and helped them with their bags and brought them to their door, and things like that. These kids, they have no respect at all for elders or. Is
this not the truth that the elders are being beaten on trains for staring? The elders are being beat because they're not giving up their seats to the young people? Is it true not bus drivers is getting stomped out because they're not stopping in the middle of the street because the young man wants to get on the bus very quicker than others? What is really happening in this world with our future?
No one has patience.
Future, there's no world.
Right. No one has patience. And what we have to get back to, like I said, the old school, we have to stay on our kids, monitor what they do, watch what they do. If they're not doing what they have to do as far as rules and regulation of the household or whatever instruction you have gave that child, you have to take away these Xboxes and their computers and these iPods. Because I think a lot of that has to do with it too. Times change. We have to go with the time.
The materialistic world.
Yeah, we have to go with the changes of today's technology
versus natural foods and
right.
Natural foods and the drugs foods. What do they call it again, sister? Pharmaceutical.
Yes.
Versus the natural foods.
Right.
And we're not. What can we do, Sister Jeff, to redeem or have these kids to be redeemed? What can we do to give them good direction and motivation, desire, willpower?
But first and foremost, they have to have some spiritual background, and God has to redeem them. Secondly,
but if there's no spiritual background in the household,
that's what I'm saying. We have to get back to the root of the problem. The root of the problem is parents. You have to get back into your kid's life. Father, a lot of women are raising their kids without men. A lot of men are raising their kids without women.
No more head of household.
Right. There's no leadership. There's nobody to look up to. Maybe they feel lack of whatever parent is missing in the house. They just feel that they're lesser than whatever, and so they act out in behavioral problems and just rebel. And it's sad. It's very sad.
Do you believe that kids today don't know respect because maybe they've never been taught respect?
Exactly. And when you have babies having babies that haven't even finished high school, how could you teach them anything? Not to say that it can't be done, but in a lot of instances, oh my God, incidents. I'm sorry, incidents.
Take your time, sister. Yes, sir.
The parents are uneducated and they don't know a lot, so they let their kid do what they want, and then they're fine with that. And then when the person that's responsible and you try to step in to help, they look at you like you're wrong, because to them it's right because they're the single parent allowing it. So if you looking in their lives and see what you can correct in it, they look at you like, who are you to tell me something? Because if their parents are not telling them, they feel that, who are you to tell me something? And it's just a.
How do you reconstruct destruction?
Well, I see it like this: if they don't try to change,
how does belief becomes hope or hope becomes faith? Will they ever change? Do you see a change?
We have to just pray and
we as a people
and work. We have to try to work together, and that's another thing. The black community has lost their togetherness. We have lost our togetherness. Everybody looking at everybody.
To pass the buck.
Yes.
So each one is passing the buck to the next.
Right. To each his own, if you will.
John blame Doe.
Yeah. To each his own.
Joe.
That's the attitude. To each his own. And that's where we're losing a lot of it.
Are we talking about every man for himself?
Yeah.
Or are we talking about man without a vision?
Man without a vision.
For every man for himself.
Every man for themselves. You couldn't have said it no better.
Sister, let me tell you something. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Yes.
Again, you're listening to Men Without a Vision. Brought to you from all natural vitamins. Keep your health right, keep your mind right, keep your thought right, keep your spirit uplifted, keep your head up high. Yes, Sister Jeff. Yes, Sister Jeff, we're back. And I'm going to let you kind of tell me deep inside your heart, Sister Jeff. Do you feel this is the world of Satan? Or do you feel that maybe there's some recreation, or maybe there's some recreation that we can give these kids to be resurrected? You know? And for them to start seeing that life is so important, which we know today that a lot of these kids do not fear death no evil. What do you think?
I feel that I feel we have hope, but it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take some time. You only can reach a few at a time. You can't get them all. For those who you can reach them and just pray. I mean, seriously, we have to get back to the fact that parents, young, old, babies having babies, whatever. We have to get back to the fact that charity begins at home. If you don't teach your kids and stay on them, even if you have to be with them now, take them places. I mean, these kids are out here all times of the night, and I just say to myself, well, where are the parents? Why would the parents? So maybe the parents have drug problems or what have you. I really can't, call it, but
are we talking about 10, 9-year-olds, young kids
walking the
that
street
are able not only to be able to walk the streets, but we're talking about them being able to go to stores to buy cigarettes and lunch and beers? Is it because the older people or the owners of the store are scared that they're going to retaliate on them?
Well, it's not that.
I mean, what is the reason why?
This is not a time to be scared, because if you're a store owner, you know what the rules are. 21 cigarettes, beer, same thing.
Like there's not a difference between black and Spanish.
I know this.
And the kids are smoking cigarettes at 6 or 7.
But what really amazes me, Brother Supreme, is that how the police see a lot of this illegal actions taking place, and they do nothing about it. Because, like, for example, if I was a police officer and I'm patrolling the area, and I see a 9-year-old, 10-year-old at 12 o'clock walking the streets, going to the store, going wherever he's going, the first thing I would do, what they need to do is pick up the kid, bring him to the precinct, call the parent, and find out why is this child out at this late hour of the night unaccompanied.
They said this is the government kid, so I mean, I guess that's one of your answers. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not making excuses for police officers because I have some very good friends that's on the force.
No, I'm not saying all.
That-
I'm just saying that they
that,
should start.
They do care about kids.
But if an adult's standing around talking to another adult, you see 5, 6 police cars looking you in your face while we standing there talking. But if you see a child, minor, after a certain amount of hours they're supposed to be in the house, in the bed or whatever, getting prepared for school or whatever. I mean, no one's saying nothing. Everybody's just turning their backs like they don't see anything.
I mean, you even have kids, Sister Jeff, to buy beer and cigarettes for the parents.
Yeah, they're adults.
Yeah, and then the adult in the store owners tell the kids, tell your mommy this is the last time.
It's illegal.
And
that store should be shut down, or they should be fined, or lose their license, or whatever comes
but
first.
as we know, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, well,
one
this is
store
what I'm
closed down,
saying.
one store open.
That's what I'm saying. everybody wants to pass the blame on something else. Well, we got to nip all of this in the bud. And this is only going on in our black communities. When you go to white areas, you don't see these things.
Are we talking about the average kid today from the age of what that is dealing that smokes pot? Do weed? I mean, what are we talking about? We're talking about the parents sitting down having.
Some parents, I assume, some parents sit with them and indulge with them.
Well, isn't this?
So that goes back, Brother Supreme, to say, if the parent don't see nothing wrong with it,
then the child shows.
The child's not going to see nothing wrong with it. And as we, as being concerned adults, try to address it, that's when we're going to get disrespected because of the fact that my parents not saying something to who the hell are you to say something? You know what I'm saying? So it's just a sad situation. It has to be addressed. I blame the parents. The parents have to step their game up. Fathers, you don't have to be in a home. You can still be in your child's life and make sure that child is raised properly. Females, the mother's the same way. Mother's the same way.
And you can't raise a child in jail.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of our black, it's just a sad situation. So what I can suggest is that different communities can get involved in their community, congressmen, congresswomen, state senate, talk with them, see what you can do to find out how we can get together and do something to help these kids. Because if not, it's going to be knocking at our door, and it's not going to be a pretty sight. I know.
We'll catch you on the next segment.
Yes.
Another day, another time.
I'll be delighted to come back.
And it's a pleasure. Once again, you're listening to Men Without Vision. We want to give you the vision and the talk.